What up YouTube, it's your boy ProfessorStix and I'm back again with another Call of Duty Warzone video. Today we're going to be comparing the XM4 and the Cold War AK47. We'll be comparing the stats, looking at the best recoil pattern, and I'll be sharing with you the best attachments. We're going to find out which is the best close range AR in Warzone. If this is your first time here, make sure you hit that subscribe button. I make Warzone tips and tricks videos and I compare the best weapons in Warzone. Let's get into it. When we're looking at the weapon stats, the XM4 has an ADS speed of 248 milliseconds compared to the Cold War AK47, which has an ADS speed of 267 milliseconds. The movement speed on the XM4 is 4.62 meters per second compared to the Cold War AK47, which has a movement speed of 4.76 meters per second. And so we can see here, the XM4 has a slight edge on the ADS speed, but the Cold War AK47 has an edge with the movement speed. When we're looking at the reload time, the XM4 comes in at 2.24 seconds compared to the Cold War AK47 that has a reload speed of 2.15 seconds. The rate of fire for the XM4 is 727 rounds per minute compared to the Cold War AK47, which has a rate of fire of 600 rounds per minute. And so we can see here, Cold War AK47 slight edge on the reload speed, which is very important, especially when you're taking on multiple opponents. But the XM4 has a higher rate of fire, which means it's going to be more forgiving if you are missing those shots. Now let's take a look at the damage profile. The XM4 does 48 damage to the head, which means it's going to take 6 shots to down a fully armored opponent, compared to the Cold War AK47 that does 58 damage to the head, which means it's going to take 5 shots to down a fully armored opponent. When we're looking at the chest damage, the XM4 does 32 damage to the chest, which means it's going to take 8 shots to down a fully armored opponent, and the Cold War AK47 does 43 damage to the chest, which means it's going to take 6 shots to down a fully armored opponent. Keep in mind that both of these weapons have a damage fall off, the XM4 at 22 meters and the AK47 at 25 meters. So we can see the Cold War AK47 has a slight edge when it comes to the damage profile. It takes less shots to down a fully armored opponent than the XM4. Now do me a favor, if you're enjoying the video, hit that like button. Now let's get into the time to kill. When we're looking at the XM4, if you hit all of your headshots, you are going to down a fully armored opponent in 413 milliseconds compared to the Cold War AK47, which you're going to down a fully armored opponent if you're hitting all of your headshots in 400 milliseconds. If you are hitting all of your chest shots, the XM4 is going to down a fully armored opponent in 578 milliseconds compared to the Cold War AK47, which will down a fully armored opponent if you're hitting all of your chest shots in 500 milliseconds, which is very, very impressive. That is faster than most of the other Cold War ARs that we have in the game. With the XM4, if you hit 2 or 3 headshots, you will reduce your time to kill to 495 milliseconds. With the Cold War AK47, you have to hit 3 shots to reduce your time to kill to 400 milliseconds, which is the same as hitting all headshots. So the Cold War AK47 is a little bit more forgiving if you're not hitting those headshots. As long as you're hitting chest shots only, you are going to be melting opponents very, very quickly. All right, let's get into the recoil pattern. All right, so very quickly for the recoil pattern, we have the AK47 on the left and the XM4 on the right. Pretty similar recoil patterns. For the AK47, it's pretty vertical, bit sporadic in that vertical spread. After about 5 to 7 bullets, you do have a little skip, then it tightens up and starts to veer off to the right and then straighten out again. Now you are going to be downing most people within that first 5 to 10 bullets, so just keep that in mind when you're letting off those first 7 to 10 shots, that there is a skip and you're gonna have to pull down on your joystick. For the XM4, pretty standard recoil pattern here. It's gonna go vertical, then start veering off into the right. Pretty tight bullet spread right here. First 2-3 bullets, kind of weird over there where there's a bit of a gap. That's probably just a little inconsistency there, but for the most part, very easy recoil patterns to control. Let's get right into the situational use. Both the XM4 and the Cold War AK47 are excellent at taking on multiple opponents. With the insane movement bonuses and the high damage output, you should definitely be running one of these as a secondary. Players who are aggressive will excel with these weapons, especially when taking on opponents in tight areas. The XM4 is really just amazing with its strafe speed, and the Cold War AK47 with that insane time to kill can definitely get you out of a jam if you're hitting those shots. Now let's take a look at the attachments. All right, so for the AK47, you're going to want to go with the KGB Eliminator, the RPK barrel, the Tiger Team Spotlight, the 45 round speed mag, and the KGB skeletal stock. All right, so a couple of things you can change here, just a couple of suggestions that I've seen in the comments, some of the people that I play with. You can put on the microflex LED and take off the barrel. You can kind of build it like this. You don't really need a barrel if you're going to be using this for close range combat or even a sniper support. And this was going to allow you to have better accuracy, because a lot of people don't like the iron sight on the AK47. Another thing you can do is you can take off the Tiger Team spotlight if you really feel like you need to use an underbarrel to control the recoil. Personally, I don't think you need an underbarrel, but you would want to go with the Spetsnaz speed grip, and you would take off the Tiger Team spotlight, but then you're not really getting those movement bonuses that we were looking for. So pretty much that is another way to build the Cold War AK47. All right, so for the XM4, you're going to want to go with the agency suppressor, the 13.5 inch task force barrel, the Tiger Team spotlight, the Raider pad, and then the 45 round speed mag. Again, the ammunition is really up to you. You can go with the 60 round if you want. I like the XM4 to have a faster ADS speed, so I go with the 45 round speed mag. Also, you can take off the laser, put on an underbarrel, or if you want to go ahead and even make the ADS speed a little bit faster, go with a rear grip, or you can go with an optic. But essentially the base is agency suppressor, task force, and the Raider stock. Those are going to be your base 3, and then the other two are optional. All right, let's get into my final thoughts. I really like the Cold War AK47 and the XM4. The TTK on the Cold War AK47 is absolutely insane, and the movement speed on the XM4 is pretty decent. Now, the attachments for the Cold War weapons, which gave huge mobility boosts, have been nerfed, and now SMGs are more mobile than ARs, which is how it should be. But the AK47 and the XM4 still have very good mobility, and that's why you're seeing a lot of players using them as secondary weapons. I think that the Cold War AK47 and the XM4 are great secondary weapons for sniper support, great secondary weapons for those who have a more aggressive run and gun play style. And personally, I'm putting the XM4 just above the AK47 simply because of that rate of fire. It's a little bit more forgiving than the AK47. Once you start missing those bullets with the AK47, you find that weapons that have faster rate of fires like the MAC-10, the FFAR, the FARA just do way better at close range combat if you're missing shots. But if you're not missing shots, the Cold War AK47 is an absolute beast. It's an absolute unit. Whether you're hitting chest shots or you mix in a couple of headshots in there, you're gonna be melting people very, very quickly. So in my opinion, it really comes down to personal preference. If you're a high skill player, go with the Cold War AK47. If you're more of an average player, you're still working on your aim, you need a weapon that's a little bit more forgiving, then go with the XM4. Either way, both of these options are really great for sniper support and really great for run and gun play styles. All right, guys, that's it for me. As always, make sure you hit that like button, make sure you hit that subscribe button so you can find your way back for more Call of Duty content. I'll see you guys on the next one. Peace.